Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to my channel, and I see we've reached 3,000 subscribers, which is crazy to me, so thank you guys for that. But today I'm going to share with you guys this one tip that I've been using in my workflow, and I think it's been helping me out like a ton. Okay, so it's super easy to implement, and it's going to help you guys out too. So to kind of jump straight into it, it's basically breaking down your painting session into two separate sessions. Okay, and I know I usually consider myself as like a single session kind of guy. Like I jump in and then I try to go from the beginning of the painting all the way to the end of the painting, and then I call it a day. But well, technically I actually do two separate sessions, and the reason behind this is I usually, the first session would take me about the majority of the time it takes to create the painting. So it would take anywhere from maybe an hour and 30 minutes to 2 hours. And then the second session, when I use that second session, it's gonna take about maybe 10-15 minutes. It's very short, but it gets a lot done. And I'm gonna tell you guys why. So I'm not sure about you guys, but whenever I paint in a single session and then post it right away, I would often come back to it maybe 2-3 days later. I would look at the post again and I'm like, man, I wish I didn't do this. I wish I didn't do that. You know, there are things that I wish I did differently, right? And this is the exact reason why I break it down into two sessions now, okay? And if you're somebody who's already been painting in like multiple sessions, I think this is still something that's going to help you guys out. Okay, so what I do here is, as you can see on screen, here's my first painting session, right? So I'm going into it starting from scratch. I'm just laying down the foundations. I'm going in with the mindset of finishing this painting in one go, but I often never actually do that. So what I do here is I finish it, quote unquote finish it, and then I would take this painting, okay, and I'm working on a Mac, so I would just airdrop it to my phone, and I would just keep it on my phone and not look at it for a while. I would maybe go to sleep if I'm doing it at night. If it's during the daytime, I'd just go do something else, right? And then throughout the day, I would kind of just pull this painting up randomly, just out of nowhere. I could just be eating, and then I'd just pick my phone up and take a look at the painting. And now you're probably like, okay, this guy's just crazy and he's obsessed with himself. But no, guys, like hear me out, okay? So what this does is it allows you to spot mistakes that you weren't able to see otherwise. So you know that thing that a lot of artists do where they flip their canvas to be able to get a fresh angle on the painting and just spot all the mistakes that they've been making? Well, this is kind of the same logic. It's all because when we look at the same painting for so long, our brain kind of just goes numb to it, and we adapt to what we see, and we stop finding the mistakes that we're making. And this is not what we want as an artist, because we want to keep fixing things, we want to keep improving them. But sometimes even flipping your canvas back and forth over and over again is not gonna cut it. Your brain is just too numb, and that is where our second session comes in, okay? And if you're somebody who's been doing multiple sessions for your paintings already, you might not have been doing this one particular thing where you upload the picture onto your phone or somewhere easily accessible and look at it throughout the day, okay? And essentially what we're doing here is we're pop quizzing our brain on what's wrong with our painting. And this is really good for finding mistakes, because your brain is reset. You don't have this painting, this image of this painting in your head anymore, and then all of a sudden you show it this image and you're like, oh my goodness, what's going on there? And your brain is immediately gonna pick up the things that don't feel right. And this is why this is so valuable, is then you can make a mental note of which areas that you see that are like, I don't know about that. And then you keep that in your head, and then you bring that into your second session and you work on specifically the things that you see that don't look right to you in your second session. And this is why the second session is so short for me personally, is because I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm going in to do. I know what I need to fix. For example, maybe it could be the colors looking a little bit off and I just need to tweak it a little bit. Then I go in and I just change the colors. I don't have to worry about anything else. This is like a targeted kind of editing. And I'm actually going to jump ahead a little bit in my speed painting video to show you guys kind of like maybe I think 40 minutes later. Yeah, there it is. And that's like the more detailed version. It's looking a little bit more complete. I'm almost done, I think, and I'm just adding some final touches. And at this point, when I'm working on it, I don't see anything wrong with it. I'm like, it's looking fine. It's looking like I'm about to finish my painting. Okay, but now we're gonna jump into some of the fixes that I'm gonna make, and they're coming up in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so here is where I start doing the fixes. This is a day later. I jump back into this painting and I see a lot of the different things that I didn't like. So like throughout the day, I was looking at this painting on my phone, maybe like 4 or 5 times, and every single time I'd find a little something that I'm like, I don't know about that, right? So here I am, I go in and I start working on these things, and one of the biggest ones is like facial proportions. I changed that immediately. And another thing I was looking at that I'm changing right now is the hairstyle. Now the original reference photo actually had the old hairstyle that I was using, but I find that with that hairstyle, it was doing like this thing with the silhouette of the characters where they kind of blended into just this one single like what do you call it, like a diamond shape, and it wasn't as interesting, right? So I think like by separating her head a little bit from her torso made for like a more interesting silhouette and an overall more flow to the painting. And you can see I was using some liquify there just to finalize the form a little bit. And here I'm going to pull it up side by side, the old one with the new one, and you guys can see some of the differences here. And these are some big changes, but I made them all in like 15-20 minutes, right? So guys, go ahead and try this thing out and let me know if this was helpful for you. Thank you guys for watching and supporting me, and I'll see you guys on the next video.